Question answer session. That is an extremely helpful tip in order to find out how did the learning take place amongst the students in your classroom. It is a good practice to make short questions for the students at the end of the lesson. It can also be called a plenary session in which all the things that have been learned can be discussed, brainstormed, and the information elicited from the students. It is also a good practice to transform information from one person to another. So in order to do that, the teacher may encourage the students to work in pairs. Each pair can produce 2 questions and ask his partner those 2 questions, and then vice versa. So every student is actually answering 2 questions and producing 2 answers. So it is an activity which can be done with the students, and the students can assess their partners and give a feedback to each other and become very confident learners and also independent in their learning. Another way to do that is the teacher has some short questions for the students, and she can ask the students to answer those questions at the end of the lesson. She may do that orally, or she can do it as a writing activity as well. Also, she can ask her students to do this activity as a homework, so that there can be a type of a reinforcement while they go home and they do these question answer session at home, so that the whole lesson would sort of come back to their mind as a flash and there would be some reinforcement done. In any case, these questions are going to be a sort of a revision for the students as well. The students would love to revise if they do have an understanding of the lesson. If they have not understood the lesson, that means the revision activity would go waste. And that would be a sign for the teacher to know that the lesson did not go well. Or maybe the lesson was good, but the understanding and the learning part did not go well amongst the students. In that case, the teacher may follow up with the same lesson the next day with a different type of lesson planning. Maybe she can start the lesson with the same question and answers that she asked when she finished with the lesson, but she changes the format of the questions. For example, if they were true and false questions, she can just change them into statements which are true and statements which are false. She can put a column where she is comparing the false with the true, so that the understanding of the students is developed in a different manner to which she tried to evaluate the previous day. Also, she can revise the words as vocabulary build-up exercise from the previous day's lesson. Moreover, she can use the techniques of catering for visual learners, audio learners, kinesthetic learners, intrapersonal, interpersonal, logical, or students who like to learn with all these different skills. So, in order to make or modify a lesson better, in order to make the learning improved, she can always do some modifications with the lesson planning that she has done earlier. The question answer session usually is a good understanding to know how the learning took place in the class. Also, apart from asking the students to ask questions in pairs, there can be divided into groups, and a group leader may ask the questions and the rest of the group can answer those.